He got inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame this year, and men love him. He also put his stamp on daytime TV this year, and women love him. Michael Strahan is one tough talk show host. This year, Michael Strahan won a spot in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
And he's sacked by Strahan. Michael Strahan has 3.5 sacks. Intercepted by Michael Strahan. And he gets sacked again.
It capped off a career as a defensive end for the New York Giants that made him one of football's greats. He set the NFL all-time single-season record for sacking quarterbacks.
Well, I struck fear, I guess, in quarterbacks because I love to hit them. When I tell you, there's nothing better than a man standing there holding the ball and you hit him. And you feel the breath leave his body, like the, and he makes this moan.
And you love that?
I love it.
One possibility.
Like a lot of athletes, after retiring, he began appearing on sportscasts. But the next chapter of his career couldn't have been predicted. It started like this. Michael appeared as a guest on Live with Regis and Kelly.
And what are you going to do with the rest of your life? You know, you got a lot of personality, a lot of charisma. What do you think you're going to do with all
Well, there's a show that I'm on right now that, you know, maybe you want to... Live with Michael and Kelly. Welcome.
When Regis left the show, many guys sat in the co-host chair, but none of them did this.
Michael Strahan!
Michael got the job. He also got hired this year to play a stripper in the film Magic Mike 2.
Michael Strahan!
And started as a part-time co-host on Good Morning America. All that success, he says, has a lot to do with how he was raised. Your father was a huge influence in your life. He's had a particular philosophy.
Which was when, not if, which was amazing. He never told me when, if you do something. It was never, if you make it to the pros, or if you, it was always when. And for me, I never developed the attitude that something couldn't be done.
Michael was born in Texas in 1971, one of 6 children. When he was 9, his family moved to Germany, where his father, a military man, was stationed. What kind of a kid were you?
I was very quiet. When I played football, my first year, I cried every game.
Why?
Because I didn't like the attention. I was a good player. And when the family, the parents would cheer for me, I would cry.
You have said that you were a husky kid. Is that a nice way of saying you were fat?
Yeah, I was a little chunky. I was big boned, as they call it. But they used to say that my butt was so big I can grab my wallet like that. I didn't have to reach behind me. But that was one of the turning points in my life, because it was the first time I realized that if I wanted something to change, I had the power to do it. So that's when I started working out. And unbelievable enough, I started working out the Jane Fonda videos.
Did you ever tell Jane Fonda that you used her tapes?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely. I told her I used the tape. She was very flattered.
Opposite arm and leg.
We actually did yoga together on Live. That was incredible.
You owe it all to her.
I owe it all to Jane Fonda.
I have to ask you about the gap in your teeth. Did you ever want to change that?
Of course.
Why didn't you?
Well, I thought about it. I even had everything lined up to get it done. And I have a cap I can put in to have...
Really?
Yeah. But when I put it in, it doesn't...
It's not you.
It's not me.
Too perfect.
Too perfect. That's not me.
Michael says he's not perfect at anything, on the field or off. So you are not just a natural?
No, I'm not natural at anything. I work hard, and I think that's the funny thing when everyone goes, "You're just a natural." I don't know if anybody's natural at anything. I think a lot of people are natural, but the ones who aren't natural seem to get passed up by the ones who really want it more and work towards that goal.
I want to talk a little bit about your private life. You got married in college. You had a daughter who is now 23, a son who is now 20. The marriage ended in divorce.
Yeah.
Tough, difficult, heartbreaking?
No, you know what? She's one of my best friends.
I hear she gives you advice.
Yeah, she gives
What'd
me
she tell
advice
you?
on relationships and everything else.
Yeah.
You know, we were just kids, having kids. And so I think for us, we were smart enough to turn that into a great friendship.
You married the second time in 1999. You had twin girls.
Yeah.
That marriage also ended in divorce. Hard?
That one was hard. And on top of it, it was played out in the tabloids.
Yeah, you had a lot of stuff.
Oh, I had a
written
lot of
about you.
stuff that was said and done. One day I was cheating. The next thing I was having an affair with one of my best friends, who was a man.
Yeah, the next thing I remember, one day you were cheating, the next day you were gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was, you know, it became one of those make up your mind type of things. But I always say it was one of the worst, best things that ever happened to me.
Why?
Because it let me get to the point where I had to learn not to care what anybody thought. So I also didn't want to say anything and fight back to the papers because that fed more into it. And I had girls, I had these two little babies. And I don't want my little ones to Google when they're older, which they're 10 years old now, and say, Daddy, why did you say this about Mommy? And what? I didn't want that. It was more important for me to take it and deal with it as a father than to say something that could hurt my kids in the future.
How does your father feel about your success now?
He loves it. My dad asked me a very interesting question the other day. He said, do you think that all your success is from you alone, or do you feel like you've been blessed? And I looked at him and I said, obviously everything is not by me. I feel very blessed. Anytime you can wake up and you have people around you who love you, people that you love, going to work at the jobs that you love, I don't know what else to ask for. I seem to have all of those things.